Welcome everybody, we are back to the Greatest Attorney Chronicles. And for a second there, I thought that was some debris on above there, but that's just smoke. Well, that tells me I need new glasses. Yep, these little yellow eyes of mine aren't really doing it anymore. Okay. Alright, so I'm ready. It is the 21st of February on Briar Road. Whatever do you think will happen now? Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison as we deduced. But it was an accident. Attempted suicide or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody. I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh! What's this? What's this? What's this? Who the hell are you, and why do you look like a certain people that I know? What's that man doing over there? He looks like he's trying to sneak to Sasaki-san's lodgings. Oh, we need to talk to him fast. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me! Could we have a word? Oh! No, come back here! Don't run away from me! He just ran off. I feel sure that we've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it? I do too, but I don't remember. Was it in a case prior? It's been so long, I don't remember. Alright, I guess we're here, so let's just examine what we got. Give me a second. Alright, quick thing, he was looking at this point, so I want to check what this is. With the exception of the top floor, where Mr. and Mrs. Garrett live, all the windows are bricked up. Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of the windows blah 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 blah. Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows. The tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely. Well, unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done. And understandable, because you could break the things to have the holes, but you would need to keep you want the windows, especially since it's like winter time. Ugh. Yes, that is a sad state of affairs. Especially people like poor Mr. Natsume who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room. I suppose that's the price you pay for living in a very cheap accommodation. It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that. I guess there was... I mean, I see that, but I can't... Okay, what about this bike? There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garrett residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment, in fact. That one seems very warped though, especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think? No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly afflicted. Did you just call the owner of the bike warped? Susatu, I thought you didn't have it in you. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of my savage little girl. Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on this bike, I think. Oh, damn. Oh dear. Fear you may be right. Hey. Holy crap, what happened to this? The Garidem household and Mr. Natsume's lodgings are in a prominent position there in the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help feeling that it's that bit of a Why do you have to mention that, Ryunosuke? Now I can't unsee it. It does rather look as though it could collapse even in the smallest earthquake, doesn't it? And isn't it supposed to be haunted as well? I think I may have a hunch as to why Sasuke-san has such a hunchback. Oh, why you have to point it out? I'm not like... Okay. Hey! Do you want to build a snowman? Why does somebody build this snowman in some sort of pedestal, you think? That's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruhodo. That's part of the snowman's body. Really? But it already has a perfectly good body. Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made of 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is a foreigner? And now we're looking at him if he's strange. Poor man. I don't know how he feels. If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowmen that are the strange ones, isn't it? After all, real people do have 3 sections, the head, torso, and legs. Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? Damn! That is savage! Yes, like, I just saw the snowman, it's like, yeah, the snowman's very normal, but they think it's strange. Weird. Anything on this side? London's blanket of fog again today. And the sky is covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built. Ah, the Crystal Tower, yes. The centerpiece of the great exhibition that's opening in 6 months' time. Everyone's talking about the Great Exhibition of London at the moment, it seems. Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself. Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry? The last great exhibition was held in London. Sorry. The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success, to outdo the Paris exhibition. I see. That's an incredible number of people. And with so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed. There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruhodo. Sheesh. Talk about, Talk about being a little bit sneaky. But yeah, he is not here, and I don't think there's anything else to explore here, so let's move. New locations. Oh, we could go to the Gary Depths. We go to the prison to talk to Soseki. Do we talk to Soseki first? Or do we want to talk to the Gary Depths? Let's go to Gary Depths first. Let's go to the Gary Depths first. I feel like... Oh my god. How's the wife, Mr. Garideb? Oh my gosh, I didn't notice. They put the thing there to cover the... where's the button? They put the thing there to cover the burns that happened in the last case here. You sly dog. Give me a second. There we go. Here we are again. Eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Gary Depp's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget.
Oh, you chaps, eh?
I don't remember what voice I gave him, so I'm going with this. Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday.
It was quite a trial. I still remember that one. Eesh.
As much for Mr. Gary Depp as anyone, really. Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more Bali nonsense this morning.
I wonder. You wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened to Mr. Gary Depp?
I suppose you'd like to know all about that loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room.
Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Oh, he's standing up. Thank goodness. Alright, let me see. I wish I could use the right stick. Present. Hey! Look at my armband! So, Mr. Gary Depp, could I show you this?
Been quite a couple of days, as you can imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. I haven't really got the energy and the old eyeballs, to be honest with you.
Some of the time, then.
Sorry.
Let's talk with him and see if we can actually glean something. No, wait a second. I need to examine this thing first. We know what that screen is hiding now. The aftermath of the fiery altercation the other day.
I suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now.
Oh dear. This must be a very difficult situation for you.
I'll say. People talk about twists and face and whatnot. But this is the twist and a half. A rotten show all around.
He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. Oh my god. Everything's still like broken. These shelves look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast.
Reminds me of the Battle of Mainland, don't you know?
Ah, the experiences of a seasoned veteran. Please, go on.
Enemy hunters around in the whole sites. We really thought we were done for the whole Belly Company. We're taking a real pounding from the cannons, so all we could do was run for our lives.
I thought the story was going in a different direction, actually.
Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for.
That's not what a lawyer who has to find himself on the fire wants to hear. Alright, let's actually talk to this guy, because I know there's a lot to go through for this case. Let's talk about this morning's incident. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what happened.
Oh, well. A hopeless actor chap rises up 5 o'clock sharp every morning when I fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bell answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door?
You know, I would be more surprised that this old man is up by 5:30 in the morning if it weren't for the fact that he's an old man. Source, me, I'm old man. Just kidding, I'm not old. I am not old. I'm ancient.
Well, I call in a round-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course.
Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Miss Naruhado. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Susato, why'd you have to be so savage?
Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that.
Is it just me or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden?
Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door.
So, what's your relationship between yourself and Mr. Shakespeare? So the victim's name is Mr. Shakespeare, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, William Shakespeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how will you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it. The only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a ball is screwed loose.
So hard to choose which category Suzuki-san would fall into. Ow! What's with this case? Like throwing shade at basically everybody. It's like Ryunosuke and Susato have a tag team of roasting everybody else and each other.
Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
Wait a minute. Hold up, go back. Ryunosuke didn't even say it, and she was like, yeah, I can read your thoughts.
He was doing research as well.
Research? Into what?
Shakespeare, of course, Shakespeare. Read a few plays in the old bar myself, you know? Romeo and Hamlet and all that.
Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated.
Sao, William I guess from Shakespeare, Sao? Huh. If anybody knows Japanese, how does William Shakespeare comes to be known as Sao? Like, I know it has to be like an abbreviation of something. I'm gonna have to look that up when I'm done with the stream. It seems incredible that Shakespeare's was shortened to Sao though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. Oh my gosh, Ryunosuke, why are you me right now? And there was a lot of costumes in the victim's room anyway, weren't there?
Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine if he and Mr. Shakespeare would have much in common.
That's true. Wouldn't we want to actually talk to Suzuki about his potential relationship with Shakespeare? Maybe that would clear his air. Yeah. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that.
Mr. Naruhodo, really? How rude!
How are you reading my thoughts though? My gosh. Susato has more powers than I thought she would. Okay. So let's talk about yesterday. So after Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning?
Well, no, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily as I remember, and it was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time.
Mr. Garadep noticed there was no lighting from his room or something, I suppose?
Couldn't summon the energy or anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back.
How do you know? You were up here. Were you just spying down the... He was spying down the window, wasn't he? You have no life, Mr. Garadep. And we are to assume that your wife has been detained because of the incident. So now you're alone in this room. How do you entertain yourself? No, wait. Don't answer that. Please don't answer that, actually. Don't answer that one. I don't want to know. I regretted the moment it came out of my mouth. I do not want to know how an old man like him entertains us. No. It's in my mind now. It's in my mind. No. Damn it, no. I'm okay. I know that the shape of his face is supposed to look like a moon. After all, if you look at the picture in the background, it looks like a moon. Like, if you look at the picture in the background, he looks like a moon. But if you look at him like that, he looks like a banana from the front. I'm just digging myself even deeper down, like, dig deeper. Come on, you can do that. Oh my god. Gary, that, please. Anyway. And the shop was up until last one in the morning. I'll have you... How do you know these things? Do you get no sleep? You obviously have no life, obviously. You have no social life. You have no life, period. But do you not even sleep? Suppose he made his hands sometime after that. I was asleep by then. I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Susato, please tell me you're gonna ask the question I've been asking all this time. Is everything alright, Miss Susato?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garadeb, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know?
Exactly, Susato. Why are you me right now?
The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean.
Oh! Are you actually suspecting him? That's a very... Why did you think about it, Ryunosuke, though? Weren't you thinking about that?
That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it?
I mean, look at him. He's like absolutely... He is absolutely like... Yep, he's gone. No, I don't think he's the culprit. No. But I do think he's a massive gossip.
I say, I know what you're thinking. It's a poly outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know?
Yeah, well, military people and gossips can intermingle. They're not mutually exclusive. Believe me, I have military family.
They can attest. I don't go around spying my tenants. Why would I?
Then how do you know, Mr. Garadeb?
It's the gas, woman. The gas does me everything.
Oh. The gas. An old man talking about gas. I thought we were above fart jokes, Mr. Ace Attorney. Oh my god. So let's talk about this gas. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, here's the thing. If the gas barely smells, it means it's just wind stuck in your it's just wind that's stuck in your intestines. If it smells a lot, it means that it had to go through a lot of oh my gosh. This delivers. This playthrough delivers.
Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes.
And I'm sure your pipes are not exactly clean. Just saying. Yes, I'd more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that too.
Let me see if I can explain.
Let's see. Sorry. Oh, these voices. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say there were two light gas lamps up here.
What do you suppose would happen?
Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly, but at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment.
What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for other lamps. For the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Oh, yes, of course, because everything is connected to a single supply line.
It's not supposed to happen, though. It sounds rather undesirable.
Really good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless. Long worn out. And barely got any gas on them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here, and they glow brighter in the rest of the house.
Oh, right, I see. So by watching the flicker of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. But couldn't it as easily have been Soseki? Because we have to assume that Soseki slept in his room the previous night. And if that's the case, then it could have easily been Soseki who have, lit up the lamps, the gas in his room.
You've got it.
Well, of course, because when people come back home in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and above it use slightly different amounts of gas.
Oh, that explains it.
By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Gary Depp. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh, well, nothing to it, really.
And I can't really see what's going on. And I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Gary Depp is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume. A good idea. It seems that the game wanted me to go to Mr. Natsume's first, but I did this first. Well, I'm not gonna do this again. Anyway, I'll leave you to your gas. I need to go visit somebody. Bye. Let's go to the prison and talk to this dude. See what's going on with him. Oh my god. It's just like that horror movie! No! No, if I turn around, the witch will be behind me. I don't know want to turn around. I don't know want to turn around. I don't want to turn around. I turn around. It's just my dirty clothes.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Don't you stood up, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Oh, yes. Yes, he is back. And he is not stopping. What is it? Tell me! Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess, you're talking about Mr. Sholmes.
He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
But his diabolic deductions, they're not of this world. They've left me. Oh, cursed! I'm cursed, I tell you! Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction too.
Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news. Oh?
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
I don't think those are actually good news. Look at him go. Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. Yes. Now, instead of getting the news, you're only getting life in prison. How does that make you feel? Yonosuke, have you no tact, boy? That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? That's terrible! Ow! Stuck in the cell suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick! You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer! Why the mustache? That's the questions! I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, that selfish shyster! Make up your mind! Are you dead or alive? If you weren't going to come back to life, why bother dying? Quickly, what's your William? I actually love this guy. This is amazing. Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place. Oh, yes. That might make sense. I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last. Ow! Oh, oops. Mr. Natsume? Does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you? I'm not saying another word! I'm the man and I'm a lawyer present! Mr. Natsume, I am your lawyer. Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Why am I cursed like this? Sheesh, this guy. I mean, I love him though, but he's such a piece of work. Here we go. Okay, before we begin, have you seen this before? Have I shown you this before, Mr. Natsume? Oh, yes. The sweet, sweet aroma of our beloved homeland. It shows that the wearer is a defense lawyer. It means nothing, Great Britain, of course, but I still wear it. Oh, I know exactly how you feel, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. My Haramaki... Wait, what? Haramaki. My Haramaki belly band! I don't feel right without it! Wait, is that what that's called? Wait, give me a second. I need to look this up. I have never actually thought about that. Oh my god! It is! You know, I've always seen those things, especially in some games. Like, for example, Okay. In Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, you see that the male characters have this band on the belly. That's what it is. It's called a haramaki. I don't know what it's for though. I will have to look it up. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's actually have a little bit of history and fashion lesson here with Chiru. So haramaki are items of Japanese clothing that cover the stomach. They are worn for health and fashion reasons. During the First Sino-Japanese War and World War II, a soldier going off to fight was often given a haramaki by his family. Okay. This? Wait. Wait. Oh, great. Like Wikipedia has nothing on it. Wikipedia has basically nothing about. Oh. Well, they got the haramaki armor, but that's not okay. That's not what I'm looking for. Well, Wikipedia has failed us. What we know is that it's a Japanese kind of belly band, and it's been used for a good couple of centuries, but I have no information on it. Great. Let's continue then. Because I'm pretty sure you definitely enjoy seeing this guy just like shiver around in place. Your haramaki belly band? It's perfect for the cold English winters. Just a thing to keep my tummy warm. Yes, I see the link. Almost. So let's talk real quick. What happened, actually? Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Nasume? There's nothing to tell. But, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case I saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back. It's hard to believe that was only yesterday. Yeah, to me it feels like it was months ago. After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings. And that evening, at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to the victim's room then? As we feared. I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before! It was the first time! Then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into discussion. But we had to go out. He had to go out. So I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Garrideb said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening around 9 or so. Just after. When I took him some nice tea, I brought us a gift. That doesn't make you look anything good right now, buddy. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then? And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, weren't you? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet! Who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate. I'm sure. Such a stimulating subject! Shakespeare! And the debate became very heated, so did you sleep poisoning to Mr. Shakespeare's tea? No, never! Not at all! Team Juliet won! That was me! And when I left this room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit! I swear it categorically! Okay, so to bring it up in non-insane speak, He went in at 9, brought some tea, they talked, and he left, and Soseki left. By the time he left, Shamsphere was still alive and looking well. So what about this cursed existence though? Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure we've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time, I've learned that it's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere, look, and they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember. And then, 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road. But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money. It spoke to me.
The rent.
That's coming up again. The rent, the cheap rent. That might be a clue actually. Let's keep that in mind. The cheap rent. I wish I had a note, but you know, Ace Attorney games I usually don't need to write things down. Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there. What?
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead, and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't. When the letting agreement recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money! A horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it would mean that I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Brave or blinkered? Yeah, I'm starting to lean on the other side here, Ryunosuke. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful?
Okay, you have to tell me about it. You have to tell me about it. Come on. Give me a second. Sorry. So I have to tell me about the horrible history. Come on.
How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. A feeling of beady eyes boring on my back, watching me. Do you think that might just been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. I've been one long nightmare since I was given the keys to the place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who've died in the room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me! That really is horrible. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poisoning his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room!
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible!
Yes, you're right. I know it. That's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home. Spirits, huh? Can say that again. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time in the Ace Attorney game that we're talking about spirits and ghosts. Take that however you will.
Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Pseudo-san knows how to make the man listen. Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well.
You mean Mr. Gary Deb?
Yes. He knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ha! Perhaps. That may explain why the landlord paid so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? Oh! That explains the gas. Mm-hmm. I guess, you know, he's not about ghosts. It's about making sure that people just don't die on his watch. That's why he's paranoid. Mr. Garrett is just paranoid. Poor man, though. He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no. It's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please forget what I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come round and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. I do hope you're right. Now, I'm pretty sure I know who this is, but just so we're safe. Excuse me. Oh no! It was actually you. I thought it was I thought it was gonna be, oh my gosh, this guy, the detective. Well, he is a detective, or is he a commissioner? I forget. Detective Inspector, yeah. I thought it was Sholmes though. Oh, Inspector Gregson. I'm gonna help overhearing what you just said. And on that, so we were speaking. I always thought that when we were just talking us three, like here, Ryunosuke, Susato, and Soseki, we were talking in Japanese, but I guess English. But okay, gonna help overhearing what you just, unless Gregson knows Japanese. I mean, sorry, I keep interrupting myself here. I'm gonna help overhearing what you just said. And on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh boy, give us the good news first, please. Oh, where do you want first? I guess the good. Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, okay, so good news it is. Damn, Gregson, is everybody just dunking on Soseki today? Poor man. Huh? Sorry. But it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. But why did you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. It's come around now.
Yes, we saw it happen all in all its terrifying glory.
Yes, I know, and I've immortalized it. You may find a clip of that in this very Twitch channel, and on YouTube as well. That was the moment I pretty much died for 5 seconds.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. I can leave this somber cell.
Sorry, no. That's not on the cards.
What?
Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
No, come on.
It can never be this easy. It can never be easy, can it? Implicated someone? Oh dear!
You don't mean...
I'm sorry to say I do, yeah. Yes. He's pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume.
Ah, this is not gonna be easy. Wait. What? I solved the case already. I solved the case. He was never in any danger. He just did this because he wanted to get rid of the foreigner. I'm right, aren't I? I'm so right, aren't I? I haven't played this game, by the way. But my thought, and please don't tell me if I'm right or not. My thought process is Shakespeare poisoned himself with a poison that doesn't kill but incapacitates. Or maybe he wasn't even poisoned. He just practiced the whole thing. Theater is his thing. So he made like he was dead because nobody was just like checking for poison, you know, take his stuff for poison. So and I'm taking this based off absolutely zero evidence. He pretended to be dead, and then when he came back to life, he just pointed the finger at Natsume because acting? I don't know the motive yet, but if that is the truth, I'm gonna make it sure it's immortalized right now. I said it. I called it. The only wrinkle in this theory is the other person that we don't know what the hell he was doing. Anyway, gotta get some water for that. Oh!
By sweet poison that he sicketh, he'll end my life. Thou weakest called fifth, Soseki Natsume.
No!
So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations. And so once again, Suzuki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. To be continued. Oh my god. Mr. Natsume, this guy is truly cursed. I am sorry for this guy. I'm just thinking, is there anything else? Well, isotronic games are usually good that if I miss something, I need to explore something, the game will tell me. The game will not progress until that. So I know I have everything for this case, but I feel unprepared. I feel totally unprepared. Oh my gosh, I need some time. Let me save. Cool beans. Only you can have 20 save files, but that's fine. Anyway, let's move right on to the case, because we have plenty of time still to do this case. February 22nd, 9:33 AM at the Old Bailey Defendants and Chamber. You know what? No.
I need to know. How do you pronounce that word? Okay. Let's see. Let's see.
Antechamber.
What the heck was that?
Antechamber. Antechamber.
Antechamber? That's how you're supposed to pronounce it? Antechamber?
Antechamber.
Yeah, that sounds weird. Okay, I guess that works. I guess that works. It's just I've been playing this game for so long, I needed to know how to pronounce that name. Antechamber. Fine. Fine, it's Antechamber. Well, the Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all the time. So I'm to assume that this is... if I'm trying to think about the first game... This happened? This is... yeah. Okay. Well... I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. For the third time. That's my line! That's my line! I'm sorry, dude. Good morning! Good morning, Mr. Natsume. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now this! Another morning, another murder! Here I am again in this hellhole! And keep coming to court! I'm beginning to think he's right. He really does, even though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have some bad... Oh. Mr. Natsume? Good morning. I don't think Susato wants to tell Natsume about this. Yes, good morning. So, here we are again. Yes, again. You know, in those times when I'm awkwardly like in front of a friend or somebody and we say like, hi, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Nice weather we're having. Yes, sure. And then we stand there for like 2 minutes and like, okay, later. Yeah, this is what that feels like. Eesh. Judicial Assistant Miss Mikutama Esquires! What's the bad news? Oh dear. You heard, didn't you? If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say! I am sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Mr. Sato. Now, what is it? Well, it seems that the prosecutor in today's trial will be led by Lord Barak Van Six. This is a first, actually, in the S Attorney series. Usually, in the S Attorney series, every new game has a different prosecutor. And I'm trying to think if there's a game that does this as well. Like, there are guest starring previous prosecutors, like Edgeworth appears as a prosecutor in one case in the second game, and then, but he's not like the main prosecutor in that case. Then there's trying to remember. The third case has the prosecutor of the second game as well. And then in the fifth game, the prosecutor of the fourth game has a guest appearance. That sort of stuff, you know. This is the first time in the Ace Attorney series where we have the same prosecutor for 2 games. Unless this is just a one-time thing. Van 6? No. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Suzuki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through, but still. Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter, after all. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says, nothing can save a person in the dock, where Lord Varsix is the prosecutor. Oh no! That even if a person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end, one way or another. And we've experienced it firsthand. A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal, right here in the Old Bailey. Maggot! No. You know what? No. I'm done. We're through with him. He's done. He's dead. He can no longer hurt me. He is long gone. He is long dead. And nobody will miss him. No, I'm done with him. Oh, do I have to put away those ice cold eyes boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper! Pair of petrified perils, potentially!
Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I'm innocent! You have to believe me! You, more than anyone right now. Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle. I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear.
Well, trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom.
Let's go.
Oh, yes. I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Sholmes, I mean.
That's probably for the best.
Huh?
If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van 6 were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least that's my gut feeling.
Mr. Naruhodo.
You're right. Yes. You're so right. Oh, well said, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Well said. I swear on this sword at my side, and on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free. With honor.
Oh, yes.
Alright, it's February 22nd, 9:40 AM. Let's go into the Old Bailey and let's do this thing! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I will now call upon the counsels of the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Oh, hi Dracula, how's it been? The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need his readiness for your inevitable defeat.
Oh, shut it, Van Six.
It's not just my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Six has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason.
Yeah, that is something. Wait. I need to go back and look at it. But this was briefly explored at the end of the first game, but was not explained truthfully. So I really want to know what happened with him. It was some time ago that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all.
Yet
now he's back in the courtroom. Though for some reason, only when I'm defending. What? Something's not right about that. Do you have something to do with like one of like Ryunosuke's predecessors or something? I mean, you're Dracula, you're like eternal, so maybe. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Soseki-san's trial.
Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty?
absolutely. I had a feeling this Larkin wasn't innocent before.
I must say, I feel especially ruthless on days when I've had refuses to sit straight.
I think you're looking fine, darling.
Oh, well, I'd rather like you wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually.
Boy, you are down bad and you need some medicine. May I suggest 2 bunks in the head?
I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick.
Darling, you're gonna be here till like 5 in the evening at least, so I'm sorry.
I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 pop tonight and the missus will go to the roof.
Why are you here again?
It's like you never left, actually.
Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. The British jury system is so very different from our own, isn't it?
Yeah, for starters, you don't have a jury system.
It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hand of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt.
6 citizens of London, chosen at random. Or at least that's the idea, cause come on, I've seen these people before! The prosecution will draw attention to the fact the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago.
And the defense would like to say that he was proven innocent.
Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today.
Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Six, your opening statement, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences.
You almost gave me a heart attack, Wind! You said your sim just won the lottery. I thought you won the lottery. Like, don't give me those heart attacks, darling. I was like, wait, you won the lottery? I mean, by proxy. Yeah, but there's a difference. You can't really, like, buy real things with simoleons, okay? Where's the water? I'm looking for my water.
Almost gave me a heart attack there, darling. Okay. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime. Namely that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. The detective responsible for the investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Oh, Soseki, I'm sorry. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. Hey, how you doing? How's the fish and chips, man? I am hungry. Can you give me some? Oh, Suzuki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture. Mr. Natsume? Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken. That you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. I remember it as if it were yesterday. The day before, in fact, my lord. But close enough. Oh, believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear it from you first. Explain the case to the court. Right, you are, sir. My gosh. This place. Yes, in the court of the Gerdep household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare. Sorry. A defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by... Strychnine. Strychnine? Like strychnine? Oh my gosh. Nice. I'm gonna say strychnine. If that is not the way you're supposed to say that word, if it's a real chemical, I apologize to chemists everywhere, but I'm still gonna call it strychnine. It was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door. This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making an entry to or exit from the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, lives to tell the tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord, and I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how I looked. Yep, I remember this perfectly. Boy, do I! Yes, a shell insane and dead. The man looks very much deceased. That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what he was. Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. So we've got a crime scene photograph, a photographic print of the scene taken by police upon their arrival. The victim can be seen unconscious at the table, having been poisoned. I still have the theory that this guy, the quote-unquote victim, orchestrated this whole thing. Now then, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, yes!
As a defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture?
They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits.
Oh, good gracious! What's haunted?
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings! The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me? What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times!
Kill, Miss Nasume? How?
Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shakespeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed. But before long, the stove went out and somebody tried to kill me.
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume.
But it's so cold. My running nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed?
Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events.
My voice, my word. Where's my water? You know, this juncture, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I have to get what people use. What is it? Tea and honey to help with my voice.
I believe I have a reasonable regard for parents.
If I could raise one more point, my lord, one more conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief! Order! Order!
Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. Isosaki-san is innocent, then why has the victim accused them?
Well, Mr. Nasume, what have you to say to this accusation?
That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shakespeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result! Never will I touch tea again! Never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before.
That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection?
None whatsoever, my lord.
Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now.
Yes, my lord! Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting. These two talking about that night. Okay. Here we go. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated, literally debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Oh, my tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the room behind me otherwise, could he?
Strike 9 takes some time to take an effect on the body. People don't kill over immediately after taking it. The victim could have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands.
So this strychnine is a slow-acting poison. That's a problem though for us.
Ah, yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward.
Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, though. Mr. Natsume claims his tea has been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of the poison, haven't they?
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to.
Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance? How could you overlook something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. Huh? The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why?
It's simple enough. There was none left. Not a drop.
And since we live in the early 1900s or the late 1800s, I don't know exactly when, there is no methods of checking traces of poison. If there's not a drop, there's no poison, there's no way of investigating. Boy.
Someone must have been very thirsty indeed.
With current scientific techniques, it is not possible to test for poison under such circumstances.
We only need a drop. But that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough.
The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question. Huh?
I see, thank you. The matter is clear.
Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? As you can see it in their faces, I'm sure, the recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can let them beat me down. I won't. Sorry.
Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright, let's do this one. What can we find from this cross-examination? Hopefully we'll find something good. Alright, so let's press this thing. Were you and your neighbor good friends then? No! We weren't friends, not at all, not at all! Never, ever! A simple no would have sufficed. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Shakespeare fancies himself as having great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, no Nipponese would understand the finer points of English literature. Mira, canto israelenya. No, I'm calm. I'm calm. Cool, calm, collected. Your not so subtle racism is not going to get me riled. And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume. It was the day of my last trial, when I was acquitted. I just arrived back at my lodgings, when I ran into Mr. Shakespeare outside on the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. Did I have ill intentions? No, not one, not two, not any, not at all. Never, ever.
A simple no would have sufficed, I feel.
Then tell the court what happened when you visited the victim's room. I feel like we're just gonna dig our grave a little bit deeper before we actually start digging up. So tell me about this though. A literary debate about Shakespeare's works. I think you said, didn't you?
Shakespeare? A very worthy topic of conversation, I must say.
Yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet, who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley.
Romeo and Juliet?
Who was stronger?
I know I'm gonna regret asking this, but how did the debate go?
Why do you have to ask that, Ryunosuke? The debate probably had nothing to do with this. Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. So we battle it out! In a Greco-Roman style, natural. Wait. 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 Oh, give me strength. So Shakespeare is Juliet? Maybe. But this is breaking my thinker. Like, there was never a reenactment of like Romeo and Juliet fighting. There was never like I may not be the biggest Shakespeare guy, but I'm pretty sure Romeo and Juliet, the characters, never fought each other. Like they never picked up a sword or anything and battled each other, not even as a sparring match. What the hell is this? Soseki-san, what's wrong with you? Well, there's a lot of things wrong with him, but in this case in particular. What? Mr. Shakespeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a context. So when you say reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume? He's a Romeo, I as Juliet. And after a... I can't! I know, please! I swear! I swear, it's the game doing this! It's the game doing this whole, like... It's all the game doing this whole, like, oh my gosh. I'm trying not to be dirty, I'm trying not to think dirty thoughts, but it's the game doing it for us. A vigorous wild tussle of these two men cosplaying as Romeo and Juliet. No! No, I don't want to think about it! Oh no, I do not want to think about it. Oh, yes, Juliet came out on top! A victory I'll cherish forever! So it's confirmed, Sasaki-san is atop. That is information I did not need to know, actually. Judge, please! Please, Judge! Judge! This... Oh... I wonder, when they wrote this, even when they localized this, did they understand the double entendres this was gonna have? Because, oh my gosh, I'm dying here. But, by the way, I'm living for this. Oh, this is amazing.
I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage.
The fact remains, it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see. It's true, there was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room. I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea was harmless, of course it was! The thing is, you are not saying the crucial part. Did you drink of the same tea? And do you have any basis for the statement, witness? Oh, my tea was completely hard. Okay, yeah. Oh, come on. No, you have to say something different. Otherwise, they're gonna kick your butt. Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone would think the fella had never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze for poison. And you say you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Nasumi? Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that as it happens. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night. And how is the landlord able to attest to this? He, said it was the lamps, I believe. Yeah, it's something to do about the gas, his gas pipes or something. I don't know. He was an old fart anyway. The lamps, Inspector? When tenants return to the rooms and start using gas, the lamps in the other parts of the house flickers. Yes, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants. There's only one key to Mr. Shamsier's room. I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself from inside his room. The victim has confirmed to be the case. That to be the case, yes. So I'm right! My tea was harmless! Completely harmless! If you take poison, you die! Everyone knows that! It's not that simple, I'm afraid. Oh, what do you mean? So we know the strychnine takes some time, it's a slow-acting poison, so let's talk about this. So, how long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison is consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison was ingested and the onset of symptoms. Here's the question. They've been drinking that thing over the whole night, and it was from 9 to 11, that's a 2-hour window. If they have been drinking tea throughout all that night, and it was poisoned, then somewhere along the line, Soseki-san must have seen Shamspear start to get ill from that poison. That is the biggest logical fallacy here. The question is, when did that person start drinking the tea? The earliest he could have drank the tea and Soseki-san would have not noticed any symptoms is at 10:30 p.m., half an hour before they finished and he left. This case just doesn't add up. There is no way. The more I look about it, the less likely I think that Soseki-san did it. It's flimsy. This case is completely flimsy to begin with. There seems to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. What was the first case of poisoning? Oh yeah. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that. Any further degrades Soseki-san's alibi. It's just something that doesn't quite fit though. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim right here, my lord. It spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well, the court will add this report to the court record as evidence. So the victim's medical report, a report issued by Scotland Yard's medical officer, it obviously mentions the poison as well as other details gleaned during the police investigation. I'm gonna look at it right now.
Yes, I see it here. The late onset of symptoms.
Sure, let me see it. First of all, there's not much to be gleaned here, I think. Maybe later, but not now. Victim William Shakespeare, 31 years old, cause of coma, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine. Toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion, high likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, but no sample could be obtained for testing. Investigative conclusions. The poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. on the 21st of February, assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have broken when a man collapsed after the delayed onset of symptoms. And there you have it. And there you have it. The perfect case is right in front of us. What does that say? 1:30 a.m. If we are to assume that the events as told by Mr. Soseki and by Mr. Gary Depp are correct, Soseki was in his room by 11 p.m. We are to assume that the two guys drank the tea throughout the conversation that they had in that 2-hour period. But that leaves a 2.5 hour period where we don't know what happened. So something's happening outside of the window for Mr. Soseki. Right now, it's looking more and more likely, according to the evidence, that Mr. Soseki is innocent. Alright, let's continue this case. This is why you check on the evidence, because it gives you a lot of clues that you need. Great. Okay, the victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. I'm trying to think, and I think I have to go... Okay, let me just press this one, but I think I know what I need to present. The argument still stands, you say? This is what Mr. Nasime has been saying, isn't it? A pair of them drank tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim would have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly! Me and my tea are innocent! Sweet and innocent, I tell you! I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. See? Strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for symptoms to appear. So you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. So where's the gag? Excuse me, what? What gag? I don't even want to know what kind of gag you're talking about. For him, he keeps on interrupting. Shh. We left that in the dungeon. We don't talk about the dungeon here, okay? The gag and other toys are over there in the dungeon, so we'll talk about that later. You could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. And as long as you did that, Mr. Shakespeare would have locked the door after you're gone. But no! We drank the tea straight away! The battle over whether Romeo and Juliet was drunker. That came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement? In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying. Drink tea while it's hot. Sure, a proverb will satisfy the prosecution. I'm afraid there is no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer his guilt on this matter. No. Okay, that's the extent of their testimony, isn't it?
If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo?
Of course, go ahead.
Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently, yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he sets aside. It's really quite infuriating.
I agree. So we need to find an inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think.
I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty.
As I see it, what we need to do is focus on the poison in the tea. Let's listen carefully to this testimony again.
Yes.
Alright, so we have the evidence we need. So it's Gregson we need to deal with. And I think it's this one. Alright, so I'm gonna save real quick. Just in case I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong on this one. I'm pretty sure I know which is the thing we need to do. On this one, the fifth one, let's present your own evidence against you. Wrong button. Your own evidence against you. Objection. Yes! The argument still stands, you say. I think not, Inspector. Again. I think you'll find that you overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. What? What are you on about? According to this report, which you so graciously offered, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning? And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. No. Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time here. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left? Exactly! My God! Thank you! Finally, we've made... Finally, I am not 50 steps ahead. Ah! Both of them. The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How did you respond, Lord Van Six? Really? You're just gonna... Just get drunk. Yeah, just get drunk. By all means, get drunk. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. If I was considering what cuisine would be best to complement the contents of my hallowed chalice in this luncheon. What the hell? How could it have happened? You ask? I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. I truly don't know what the hell you're talking about, Van Six. What is... like... Yeah. First of all, I truly don't understand what's wrong with you. So that's why he wears gloves. Yep. I mean, he's freaking Dracula. He can take it. He can take all that stuff. He's not okay. A phantom? It is so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left. Oh, so now you're bringing suppositions without evidence. Where's the evidence that the victim drank the tea after the accused? After the accused left? Where's your evidence? For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30. Yeah. Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there is a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. Objection. And in my country, there is an even more apt saying. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. Oh, you just made that up! Come on! The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may have been other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities! What sort of possibilities, counsel? Oh. I don't know. I didn't think I'd get this far. Huh. Other possible. You know what? Let me see real quick. Did we check the soap? Oh. What is it, Mr. Naruhado? This bottle of soap, when we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc on this depression just here, a reddish one. Yes, you're right. I remember it too. Wait, where did that go? But now the depression is completely empty. Where could the disc have gone? Huh. The reddish medallion from the center had mysteriously vanished. What? When did that happen? Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors. I thought this was a mirror when I first saw it, but no, this is just a piece of paper. Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the rib here, the person in question must have been right-handed. It's as sharp as paper. Mitsusato, I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You can never read too much from me, Mr. Naruhado. Never! Okay. So the soap is actually kind of an idea that I have. Yo, Gobi! Can't stay for too long, just saying hi and good luck. Love you, bro. Gobi, thank you so much. Much love. Thank you for just stopping by. I don't care if you're here for 5 minutes or 5 hours. But of course, you're always welcome to be here. I am here just like going crazy over tea. People are just spilling the tea right now. You know what? That's what I should have called this. Yeah. That's what I should have called this, my gosh. There. That's what I'm gonna call it. And I wrote it wrong, of course I did. Fixed. Oh, it's great. It's been great so far. I'm loving it too. Okay. Let's see what sort of possibilities we come up with though. Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, the man stayed up till 1. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate. You have nothing to substantiate that the guy drank his tea at 1:30 in the morning. What the hell are you talking about, you idiot? Sorry. I'm cool. I'm calm again. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You suggest this may have been a suicide, counsel? Objection. Mr. Shakespeare has categorically denied suicide. I'm not gonna say a thing about this, sorry. The idea can and must be discounted. I'm not gonna discount it, but I'm gonna keep it in the back pocket for now. But he could be lying. Oh my gosh, he doesn't have any more to say. We are in trouble, aren't we? Is something wrong, Lord Van Six? I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Don't tell me you're waiting for your Uber. Your Uber Eats. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Ah, the victim. He's gonna be a... I love the animation doing that. Okay. Thus, it looks like he saw some pumas. It was legit. Like, I'm gonna take a quick look. Shh, don't you know, in that era, even showing so much as an ankle would have like made people just faint. Oh, big giant badunkadunkers. Big honking badunkadunkers. Don't you know it? Hold on. So who are we talking about here? You look back. Out! Brief candle. The whole cross dressing the whole crossing dress. Oh, the whole cross dressing. Oh yeah, in the first case. Yeah. Yeah, it took me a while, but yeah. Then again, I'm a fan of Pretty Boy Susato. I am a fan. Out, brief candle, lies but a walking shadow. A poor player, that struts and frets this hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. All good English is my first language, and I suck at it. Hey, the more I speak English, the more I suck at Spanish. I might actually just do like streams exclusively in Spanish, just for the sake of like doing like Spanish stuff, like being like, you know, just like polishing my Spanish. Eu sou un pedazo de merda. Yeah, you're fine. Anyway. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Oh, I love that accent, sucks, man. Who, sir, are you? William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by the bitter events. I am the victim. If there was a punchable face in this game, this is it. What? What's he doing here? The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed.
You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself.
I'm pretty sure those are like glass, painted glass, you know, the diamonds. Like, they're not really like diamonds or any sort of gemstone. They're just like plastic, actually. Happy am I, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. I still have my own tale to tell. My own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence and perfect English.
That will do, Mr. Nasime. Let the court now hear from the victim.
Oh my gosh. What? Wait. Who was that? Alright, so that's Mr. Shakespeare. Well, who's that other man beside him? No, that's not the landlord. That's not the landlord. The landlord is the old man that looks like a moon. Or a banana if you look at him from the front. Who's this guy?
Yes, I feel sure that we caught a glimpse of that man before.
State your names and occupations for the court, please, witness.
A writer of words so sweet, they do scent the breeze. An inventor of ideas so profound, they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare.
Wait,
Were the great bard to be recalled to life anew, lo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle, William Shakespeare.
oh, name's Mitterman. Arden B. Mitterman. Adron B. Mitterman. What? I work for the Alderman Gas Company. It's an branch office. Wait, the gas company?
Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road.
Oh yes, she's right. It's him. What's this? What's that man doing there? It looks like he's trying to see into Sosuke-san's. You are not looking at the gas things. That's for sure.
Something wrong, Miss Naruhodo.
Excuse me, can we have a word? And then he escaped us, because of course he did. I'm almost certain he's not really with the gas company. That's just a sham. Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrideb's house that night. And he's a gas company employee? What does he have to do with this case?
So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct?
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember that sweet poison that didst cross me and cross mine innocent lips?
I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room for doubt from the jurors' minds, I'm sure.
Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my names to see that me's a seraph, an angel indeed. Thus be I of noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be.
Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name. No, not at all.
You seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid.
You're actually taking this seraph anagram idea seriously. Oh my god. I know, Ryunosuke, this is Stupid.
Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions.
But, my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shakespeare doing here? The gas man, I mean.
What? Me? Well, you know.
Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence, when you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar.
What? No, I didn't quite say that.
This young chin stroker Why does this game keep doing this to me? I swear, am I looking too deep into this? Am I looking too deep into this? Do I have just a dirty mind or something? Because my God. Let's continue. This young chin instructor, he's here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman?
Hang on, no, I'm just here. I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question.
One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me. But let the truth be spoken, the truth of that wintry night of my discontent. A man of few words. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. I already know where we're going with this. 'Twas the tea alone. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour. Nothing, not else. I was outside this block's window in the freezing cold at night. Keep an eye on this room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fellow. Oh my gosh, there is so much wrong. There is so much wrong in this testimony. I could pick it apart, piece by piece. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shakespeare's rooms all night?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Of course, the block's window's all but blocked up, isn't it?
Yes.
But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered through that.
Why?
Your question is, sir?
Exactly. Why am I the judge now?
Well, no. That's because he's on my list.
Huh. What a piece of work is a man. Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? You sure are a piece of work.
What are you talking about?
This buzzing busybody had not part in this play. I pray thee, pray him no need, make no more ado about his tedious words.
What'd you say about me?
Calm yourself. The court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more.
Indeed, that is so.
And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime.
Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Yeah, I know how this goes. You say this is the final testimony and then we have like 10 testimonies after this. I know this is gonna keep going. Yes, my lord. I think I know where exactly to pick it, but I'm gonna press before I try to present something. Yeah, we know. To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume. Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs. Mr. Natsume will do. And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history had not seen before. By which I presume he means the discussions about who was stronger, Romeo or Juliet? I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as would our characters be to bring way upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. Me neither. Frailty, thy name is woman. You know, I've been thinking about Xenosaga, and that line just triggers a whole scene that is one of the best scenes of that game. And I didn't know it was a Shakespeare quote, but now I want to play Xenosaga again. It's been too long. It's been too long. I will play Xenosaga again, but believe me, I'm not gonna stream Xenosaga. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the Eastern art of Jiu-Jitsu, but ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up. This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you would reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. Yes, let's keep going. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly, I would do thy bidding. Yes, we have heard enough. Let's continue. Alright, so here's the thing. Bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. This is the timeline that I'm talking about. According to what he's saying, it was immediately after. Not at 1:30. So let's continue. Let's talk about this. Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amount to no more than 3 hours of missing time. What the hell is this? Game? Help? Oh my gosh, I can't stop looking. Oh my gosh, I can't stop. What the hell is going on? If the defendant really had put the poison in your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're gonna have to explain. You're getting sleepy. He's still doing it! Gladly, 'tis an easy task. Yeah, I can see. Sham. What? I did drink of the tea, not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched. No. That doesn't sound Have you seen this man? He is basically doing the 18th century twerk on court. This is gonna be in a court record somewhere. This guy's not normal. This is not a proper thing to say, Ryunosuke. This guy's just not normal.
Nay, this is quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amidst such argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea.
Romeo and Juliet again. And who was the stronger? Mr. Shakespeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker?
But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stupid lover of words did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil.
We all know what that means. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips at that late hour, not else. I think this is what I have to look into, but I don't know what type of evidence I need to press on this. So let me press real quick. So you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner? Supper?
Ha! Fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time.
Sorry?
I would that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise.
Can you please stop gyrating on the witness stand? Oh my god. Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say.
Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence, it is that there...
Oh, sorry.
Hence it is it that there doth not in my chamber be than the customs of mine art?
That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room.
Now I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere.
From I have devoured them all. Ah, this guy! Is this for real? Is this guy for real?
You've eaten them? Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise?
Right. That wasn't misleading at all.
Now, could you turn around, you think?
Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. I was outside the block's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. Or the paper he ate? Yep, exactly. Okay, so what's about this though? But the windows of the house have all been filled in.
A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax.
Yep, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking into that gap.
Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there?
And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap line up on the ledge outside as well.
I don't like going around poking my shin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights.
Then why were you there?
But them's my orders. That's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body.
I am afraid to ask this. But on whose orders were you supposed to be there? I'm afraid of the ramifications of that question, actually, because that's gonna bring a whole can of worms, I think. What's with all the theatricals today? Out of interest, Mr. Mitterman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, Did you see the victim leave the room at all?
No! He never left. He was in the room the whole time as far as I'm concerned.
And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. He probably ate it. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time in the SR30 series when somebody eats a receptacle of poison! Man, that case was a tearjerker. I'm not going to elaborate. If you haven't played that game, just go play it. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle.
Ah, yes. Lucidly explained, Counsel. Thank you.
It really was. You can't argue with that logic. Okay, no one else visited the room. Alright. So let's talk about this one. You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella, so you can't be sure it was the defendant then. Objection. How many other short little round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? You'd be surprised.
Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up around night and I'm pretty sure myself.
And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shakespeare drink tea together?
Nah. Sorry, couldn't say.
Why not?
Because I couldn't see into the room that well, could I? What I did see was the silhouette of that little round-back fella wearing a pretty dress.
Yep. I don't think I need to be reminded of Soseki in a pretty dress, thank you.
And the pair then started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you,
I don't know what to make of. I'm done! I am done! I am done! What the hell is this? Those two come together at the dead of night. Soseki dons some woman's dress and they start some kind of wrestling match. I am done. I mean, all the power to them. I am not here to kink shame. But why is this an important part of the case? I don't think we need to know about the people's sex lives to be able to figure this out. Or maybe we do actually, because this is a lover's quarrel, perhaps. I'm sorry. I mean absolutely no disrespect to anybody. But it is just too funny to think of Soseki's... where's my controller? To think of this man in a dress. Maybe that's why he's single. At 33. After all, this was the early era and people doing that sort of thing wasn't exactly seen as a good thing back in the day. Nowadays we live in a different era and thankfully people are more free to be able to express themselves in whichever way they want to. And I, for one, am glad that we live in this era now. That said, this is still hilarious. I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure if that's exactly what the writers were trying to convey, but boy. I know, Rinosuke. I know. I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle going on the way. In this corner, weighing in at 100 pounds and 1 ounce is Romeo. Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question. Gasman's honor. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh hell no. It's starting. My lord! Goodness me! Yes, Mr. Foreman? I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you reach a unanimous decision? Too right we have! Are you all with me? Oh my gosh. Wait, no. The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room.
Yes, the 3 missing hours as you put it.
But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I can see.
And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob home the window tonight, the missus will blow her top. Huh? What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well. Let the court be appraised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, will you state your leanings to the defendant's culpability?
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Oh boy. And it begins. Again. All of you. Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous. So, this time at least it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. Ah, I got that. That was a Shakespeare reference. See, I got that reference. I'm a good person. I know English. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Yes, to the guilty being punished. The problem is, he's not guilty.
Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please! The trial isn't over yet.
What do you mean, Mr. Sato?
What about the information I found in this encyclopedia of British law? I have what obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations? Remember!
A summation examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in the British Court of Law, if we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to submission examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? Okay, here's the thing. As of this case, we have been in 2 cases already. We've won both of those cases. We've won them. So, how are you not surprised? Like, how am I not surprised at your inability to understand that we are not gonna get out of here without a not guilty verdict? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth. Yeah, well, this is not the truth. There are so many holes in this case that need to be plugged up, and I am worried about them.
Certainly. No other defense counselor in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination.
Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered.
We've done it twice. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. Defense counsel's request is granted. The court will proceed with a summation examination as outlined by the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity, and we're ready for it. Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of the crime which he stands accused.
But we're gonna have to do that in the next time, tomorrow. Oh yeah. So we are not doing too well. We are sorry, wrong game, wrong thing. You didn't see anything. Let me save real quick. There we go. So next time we're gonna go into the summation examination because of course we are. Because of course I believe this is gonna be, you know, a really important, you know, it's gonna be really, really fun. So oh boy. I'm just like, holy crap. This case just keeps getting better and better. I really like how this game is going. So I want to So I want to thank you all for coming in, for making this fun, for enjoying my content, whether it was live or on the VOD. It's been a magnificent time, and honestly, it's been real. Come back tomorrow. We'll have so much more Ace Attorney. I may stream early morning tomorrow. Maybe. Who knows? But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic day. Send some love to Blueberry. I love this streamer. She is fantastic. So show them some love. Laters.